Thank you for buying an Amped SLP regulator. In this video, we will go over all of the functions and user features of this regulator. So when you receive it, it'll be in a packaging similar to this. You have on the label three features or three details of your regulator. You have your length, the regulator option, and the line type on the bag, so it is able to verify that it is what you ordered. Once you open it up, you pull it out, and all of the parts will be assembled. As you separate it, it'll be your regulator, your line, and your gun side connector. Let's go over the regulator first. So on the regulator, there are two knobs. There's the green knob and the black knob. The green knob is part of your universal fill adapter. It is essentially the on-off valve for your tank. So before you install this onto your tank, you want to just twist the knob to where you can see one of the threads. And once you have the cap raised up to that point, you know that the pin is disengaged or raised up enough that it will not pre-engage your tank before it is sealed. So then you can screw your tank on, and you want to make sure that your tank is an SLP tank. If you're using an SLP regulator, for ninjas, they say it right here on the top part of the tank. But once you have your tank installed, you can then screw the green knob down, and once it's down all the way, it'll pressurize to the regulator. And if you haven't adjusted your PSI knob yet, it will not show up on your gauge. All right, also on top of the green knob on your UFA, there's a section right here in which you can retain a couple tank O-rings. That way, if an O-ring on your tank ever goes and you start leaking air, you can pop it right off and replace it. It'll hold about 2 O-rings, because Ninja tanks have 2 O-rings on there. That way you have a full replacement for those. Or if you have a tank that only has 1, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So then next you're going to be adjusting the black knob, which is your PSI adjustment. For that, you will click up and then you will rotate it. It is clockwise for positive increase and counterclockwise for negative increase. And when you are done adjusting it, you click it down into place. If it will not click down into place, you just have to move it slightly left or slightly right for it to find the groove that it's supposed to go into. On the top of the cap, on the top of the black knob, there are holes drilled into it. Those holes are for the purpose of tournament locking your regulator. Since this is the adjustment point for your PSI, you run a zip tie down through that hole and underneath this silver stainless steel fitting here, and that'll clamp it down so you cannot lift it up to adjust it. Therefore, preventing any PSI increases or rule breaking safety violations. It's therefore. So those are the main things you need to know for your regulator. Next we'll move on to your line. Not a whole lot to go over on the line. It is in a myriad of colors, whatever options you choose. They will come spooled up like this. You have your male side and your female side. The female sides are coupler self-sealing, so even though there's pressure in the line, it will not bleed out of there. When you go to connect it to your regulator, you take the male side and you pull the collar back on there, insert the nipple, the male nipple, and then let go of the collar and then push in more and it'll click into place. If it doesn't click into place, even though it's held there, it'll just pop off. So you need to make sure it clicks into place. After that, you have that same type of connector, but on the other end of your line, and that is where either an IGL, if you have one from coming from your end, or the macro line and the gun side piece will connect into. Same thing, clicks into place. So now we have that talked about. Let's go over the last piece, the tiniest part of your SLP regulator, and this is the gun side connector. So this has the QD male side for the line, and then it has this brass piece with a plastic ring on the top. This is sometimes called a shark bite fitting, sometimes called a slip fitting. The macro line that comes out of your stock HPA system will then insert into this, and it'll sort of pop into place, and that means that it has popped past the biting section of it to where it'll retain it. And then to remove this plastic piece, you will pull down, and then you can pull the back line out. So Nice thing about the macro line and the shark bite fittings is you can cut the macro line to whatever length you want, to wherever you want this to stay on your rifle. If you want to hang a bunch out of your grip, if you want it to be up inside of the pistol grip, you have the option with the macro line. But the problem with macro line is because of the way this retains onto there, it has little blades on the inside that grab onto the macro line, and as this turns and flexes, it'll eventually bite in and cause a leak on the macro line over time. So then you have to take this off, trim a little bit off, and then put it back on. After doing that so many times, you're going to run out of enough macro lines. So that's why we made our IGLs, which is something to look into if you haven't already. But that was a brief overview of our SLP regulators and our lines. If you get it in a complete package. If you have any questions or anything like that, you can always give us an email or a phone call. And we have a lifetime warranty on any manufacturer defaults on our lines, and I believe a 1-year warranty on our regulators. If you have any questions, give us a call. Have a good day.